Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's performance of
The Diz Explorers
will begin in 2 minutes. Excellent
listening
locations are still available all around Showcase Promenade. Due to the use of
alcohol and opinions.
around the lagoon, for your safety, we request that you remain on the promenade side of all railings. During the show, please watch your step and take small children firmly by the hand. Once again, this evening's performance of
The Diz Explorers
will begin in just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Explorers podcast, where each week we explore the many avenues of the great Disney universe. So joining us this week, we've got the ladies. We've got Adrianne.
Hello.
We've got Jessica.
Hey, everybody.
And Melanie.
Hiya.
And me, which, if you want to throw me in with the ladies, that's fine. I'm not going to complain. I've been called worse. So this week, after a long hiatus of this little series, I guess you could say, we've been doing where we pick a park for the day and we all kind of state how we would tour it with fast passes, food, shows, entertainment, anything you can do in the park throughout the day, and we've kind of go through it and see what's what. So we're going to do Animal Kingdom today, and we held off on it for a while because Pandora was not open. Many of us have not visited it, but some of us have and some of us haven't, but it's been around long enough that I think we all can get a feel for the few things that are involved in that land to throw it into our plan, if you would. So we're just going to get right on it, and I'm going to start with Adrianne because I know she's the most prepared. And as I always,
she's the only one that's been to Pandora, right?
That's here. Milford has, but
Right,
he's
Milford.
he's
Not here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
he's currently out of power, so we're waiting to see if he will jump on with us. But yes, them two are the only two that have been there. I will be there in 3 weeks, and then I can add an addendum to this or something. I don't know. So let's hear it, Adrianne. I mean, I don't know how you guys want to do it. You want to do everybody just do their own kind of in order, or I guess that makes the most sense, right?
Easiest, I think.
Instead of jumping around. Okay.
All right. So you want me to rope drop the clothes, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I have written down. Okay. So even though I have been to Pandora, you'll be slightly surprised at how little Pandora there is in my list. Mainly because it's tiny.
Yeah.
But all right, so get there at park opening, and I'm headed straight back to the back in Africa, and I'm going to do the safaris first without a fast pass. If you get there pretty early, it's basically walk on 10, 15 minutes. So I'm going to start with the safaris. I like early morning safaris. I've done morning, afternoon, I've done evening, and I still think morning is my favorite. So hit it first thing, and then as soon as we're finished with that, I'm going to have a dining reservation at Tusker House for breakfast. I love Tusker House.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah, we've done breakfast and we've done dinner. Breakfasts are just my favorite meal of the day to have a sit-down meal anyway. We kind of start big and trickle off as we go, just in our touring plans anyway. So anyway, that's kind of our big meal. I like the characters. I think it's a lot of fun. So anyway, Tusker House. I love that food too. People say that Boma is the best breakfast on property, but I think if you're going for something similar, Tusker House is pretty much right up there.
Tusker House is not to go off, but Tusker House is very close. Yeah. It does have some of the same stuff, but Boma just has like a few of the, it's like some of the oddball stuff that they don't have there.
Yeah, and Boma has the bread pudding, which is very good too.
Yes.
But anyway, I really, really enjoy Tusker House, so it had to be on my list. And then my first Fast Pass is, surprisingly enough, going to be on Festival of the Lion King. I love that show. I hate waiting in line for it.
Yeah, agreed.
So, right? So you Fast Pass
Agreed.
it, you get up front, you get a nice seat. And I love that show. If people haven't done it, I've raved about it before, so I won't go into it too much again. But love Festival of the Lion King. Then I'm going to head into Asia, and I'm going to use my second Fast Pass on Expedition Everest.
Okay.
My favorite coaster. Well, it's not my favorite coaster in all of Disney World, but
Right.
it's one of the best. I love it. So we're going to Fast Pass Everest and then head on into Dinoland. I don't love Dinoland, but Dinosaur is pretty good, so we'll hang out on Dinosaur. It never has a really bad line. Primeval Whirl, I like that one. Maybe I'm crazy. It does hurt your head and your neck a little bit, but I like it. And after we've done those two things, we're going to head back into the center and have lunch at Flame Tree Barbecue, because I just found out that they have pulled pork fries.
Oh, nice.
And I think I need those in my life.
Yeah, you do.
So, I mean, and we've eaten there. I love Flame Tree's really good, especially for a quick service.
Agreed.
But like I said, I didn't know that existed last time I was there. Plus, they have the mobile ordering now, which is amazing
Yes.
when you're there with small kids.
Yeah.
So lunch at Flame Tree, and then we're going to head back. And we're going to go back towards Dinoland and do Finding Nemo. And because that's a really cute show. And the Maharaja Jungle Trek, because I've never done it. Believe it or not.
Yeah. No.
And then, no, never. I've never done the Jungle Trek. Never have. So it's on my list, clearly. But
We usually wander through it right after we get out of the safari if we don't have any place to run.
I feel like I'm maybe on my very first trip when I was like 17, because Animal Kingdom had just opened. So I feel like I have these vague memories of it, but not enough to actually to remember the experience.
Gotcha.
If I did it, I don't know. My sister says I did, but I don't know. And then we're gonna have a snack at Mr. Kamal's, which is a little cart in between Asia and Africa, which I also just discovered has an amazing set of fries. It has, if y'all are noticing a pattern, it has these fries have tzatziki sauce and sriracha ketchup.
Sold.
And again, it's just, yeah, right. I mean, every picture I've seen of it, I'm like, yes, I need to eat those. So snack time. And then finally, we're going to head into Pandora, and we're going to have a fast pass for Flight of Passage, because this is an ideal world. And even the fast pass, sometimes the line can be up to an hour long. So, cool. And then if the Navi River Journey has a short line, I'll wait in line for it. But that ride's not worth more than a 30-minute wait. And then we're going to head to the Nomad Lounge, which is right outside of Tiffin's.
Yeah, you are.
It is my favorite place to be anywhere. I want to sit out on the back. I want to look at the bridge. I want to watch the people walk into Pandora. I want to eat the bread service. I want to look at all the pretty drinks and just chill out for a while. It's awesome. Nomad Lounge is amazing.
Yes, it is.
And then I don't know what time of day this would actually be by the time we finish, but I'm going to skip Rivers of Light. One and done for me.
Mm-hmm.
While everybody is watching Rivers of Light, I'm going to ride Everest as many times as I can walk on. And then, because I'm not kidding you, I tell you I did it 3 times in a row. Maybe last summer. Was it last summer? I can't remember. But everybody...
You do single rider?
No. Oh, literally after Rivers of Light, everybody pieced out of the park, and
also
it was completely empty, and
it's right there. Not to cut you off, but like the entrance to Everest and the entrance to Rivers of Light are literally across from each other.
Exactly. So everybody left the park, or they went to the front of the park to see the Tree of Life awakening, and then left. So we went and rode Everest 3 times in a row. So I'm going to do that as often as I can stand it until I get sick. And then and then I'm going to take pictures because I love Magic Kingdom at night. I think it's beautiful, but I think Animal Kingdom has it beat.
Agreed.
So I'm just going to wander, take pictures. I mean, oh my gosh, right there through Asia where you're coming in before you get to Everest, that whole section there has lights overhanging. It's gorgeous. So that's how I'm going to end my night. Wandering around until they kick me out.
Yes. That's a fantastic plan. That's I have a feeling mine will be very similar. Very similar.
Well, that's because it's the good way.
What's that?
I said that's because it's the perfect plan.
I was just that's right. Because that's right.
Now we can end the podcast and we can all say goodnight.
Right, we're good.
Thanks.
Just do what she says.
Thanks for listening. That's right.
That's enough.
Okay. So.
No, I mean, for those people who haven't done Rivers of Light, you should experience it at least once because it is very pretty.
Yeah.
But after you've done it, go do everything.
Exactly. It's a one and done. Okay. Milford has joined us. So, hello, Milford.
Hello.
Glad to see you got your power back on.
Yeah, who knows for how long.
As long as it's long enough for this, that's all we worry about.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to go in order of my little pictures here because it's easier than trying to think. So, Jessica, you're up next, and I know being a West Coaster, you have not I know you have not been out to Pandora yet, and I don't know how much experience you have with Animal Kingdom at all, so I'm interested to hear what you have chosen by just going off of, I'm assuming, what you remember from the place and then also looking at the map.
Yeah, so I was there for a grand total of 1 day, so I certainly don't remember it super well, but I kind of tried to think about all the places I didn't get to see and sort of prioritizing those, even though it doesn't necessarily make sense if you go there all the time. But I would start the same way as Adrianne and go right to the safari because last time we went first thing in the morning and it was still cloudy, so a lot of animals were out. And I would try to replicate that because it was really cool to see them all active. And the guy who was leading us said that that's the best time of the day to have them be active instead of kind of hiding in the shade. So I would shoot for that again. And I don't really remember. I'm looking at a map. The rest of what is in Africa, is that where the Lion King show is?
Yes.
Okay, so I would probably use a fast pass for that as well because I used one on my first trip and we got a seat in the front row, which was pretty awesome to see everything up close. And one of the monkeys high-fived me, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. So I would like to do that again.
That is the coolest thing.
I think so too. And I'm not a super big breakfast person when I'm in the park. I'd rather just kind of grab a snack and keep moving. But I think there was maybe a Harambe market or something that had fruit cups and it had just little snacks that you can grab. Is that correct? Is that?
Yes.
So I think I'd probably go there for breakfast, maybe between the safari and the show while I'm waiting in line or something.
Okay.
And then what I'd actually like to do next is go to the middle to Discovery Island because when I visited last time, they were working on the Tree of Life and the pathways around it. So it was completely walled off except for a pathway to Asia and a pathway to Africa and a pathway to Dino Land. But the actual scenery in between all the pathways was completely blocked. So I couldn't see any of it. So I'd actually like to spend time kind of walking around there and taking in the scenery. And I've heard that the Tree of Life is really cool, but I didn't really get to see it. So I thought, that would be a good spot to kind of hang out in for a little bit and do some shopping or something. And then I think I would make my way over to Asia. And I also share your obsession with Expedition Everest. I did that single rider a couple of times in a row, and it's like the Matterhorn, but just so much better. I mean, I'm really sorry to any other Disneyland listeners, but it's just better. And I went in January, so the river rapids were down. So I I've been on the Grizzly ones in California Adventure, and I assume it's pretty much the same premise, but it's a really fun ride. So I'd like to see it in kind of an Asian setting as opposed to just in the California Redwoods. And other than Expedition Everest and the River Rapids, are there any other major attractions in Asia? Because I'm looking at the map here and I don't.
No.
Caravan Road?
I think
What is
that's
that?
about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
As far as attractions, yes.
Okay. And I've heard, and I'd be curious to hear what you guys think, that Yak and Yeti is a good place to have lunch.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good bar.
So-
Good little bar, too. They make good drinks.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But the
Okay.
the restaurant itself is fantastic. It's small, so you can't like do large parties there because it's only like small booths and stuff because you'll all be separated. But I thought the menu was fantastic. And
Is the bar separate from the restaurant, or is it in the same?
It's in the same. It's small. It's like 6 seats, but you can while you're waiting, you can just grab a drink or something and hang out in the waiting room, or grab a drink and take it to your table. Yeah, it's not like a whole separate bar. It's just like it's like a small little, but it's full service.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that restaurant because I honestly don't remember where I ate when I visited, but I did not go to Yak and Yeti, so I'd really like to try it. And then I'd probably just keep going down the path, and I didn't see the Finding Nemo musical either, so I know it's not the greatest thing ever, but I'd still like to see it so I can say I saw it.
It's super cute.
Yeah.
It's super cute.
That's good. And then I'd hang out in Dino Land. And Dino Land was kind of weird because it was one of the last places I went in Animal Kingdom when I visited, and everything else is just so over the top themed. And especially the part that's kind of a carnival just seemed so bare in comparison, and it was kind of jarring. Is that a pretty common reaction to Dino Land?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for confirming.
It made no sense
But I
in
did
the
like
context of the
Dinosaur.
park.
I did like Dinosaur because it's the same ride vehicle as Indiana Jones, and it was a similar experience, so I thought that was fun. So I definitely do Dinosaur, but I don't know how much time I'd actually spend doing the rest of Dino Land. And then I think probably toward the
there's
evening.
Two other things there. Anyway.
What'd you say?
I said there's only two other things in Dino Land anyway. There's the Primeval Whirl, which is kind of a coaster, kind of not, and the Triceratops Spin, which is just another Dumbo ride. So you're not missing out on
I
that.
think I
Which
went
is a
on that
spinner,
actually, the Triceratops thing. I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Are there ever any character meet and greets in the Animal Kingdom? Because that's one thing I didn't have when I was thinking through what to do.
It's very limited. There used to be some special ones, like you could meet Pocahontas used to be over in Rafiki's Planet Watch, and before that, Jiminy Cricket used to be out there.
But you
But now I believe just Rafiki, I think, is out there sometimes. But wandering around the
not
park,
wandering, but there's Doug, right, from Up.
yeah, Doug and Russell.
That's by the
Yeah.
tree.
And
They're out
there's
there.
Baloo,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah, Baloo, King Louie.
King Louie meet near Flame Tree.
Yep.
Flick
Okay.
is from a Bug's Life is around the Tree of Life somewhere. I'm trying to think.
Oh, and
That's
they
pretty
used to have the animatronic dinosaur that would roam that part of the area.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's long
that's
since
gone.
gone.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That sounds cool.
And there used to, before Pandora came along, then where Camp Mini Mickey was, then you had the regular, Mickey
Bad
and
Five,
Minnie
yeah.
were there.
Chip and
in
Dale.
their safari outfits. So, and honestly, I really don't know if they're anywhere else in that park. I don't think so. It was never a thing when we used to go.
Just at Tusker House.
Searching out characters in Animal Kingdom. Yeah, it was just at
Now,
Tusker House, right?
Pluto and Goofy still meet together in Dino Land. They meet right across from Triceratops
Okay.
Spin.
Okay. Oh, yes, that's right. I do remember seeing them there.
So what is that
they have,
thing
like,
you
that
said,
postcard there.
Rafiki's Planet Watch? What is that? Because I have no memory of that from my trip.
It's a separate little train you take, and it takes you out, and there's like a little petting zoo there, and inside there's a like a little veterinary clinic where they will sometimes they're doing stuff on some of the smaller animals, and then there's a whole ton of arachnids and bugs and all sorts of stuff in like behind all the work areas. And then they'll have like display, like clinic isn't the right word, but last time we were there, a lady was out there with a tarantula, and they're talking about the tarantula, and you can go up to the little box, and it's in its little clear cage, and she's explaining about all that stuff. Seminar, I guess that's the right word. And then there's like sound rooms where it's those dark sound rooms, and you put the headphones on, and it has forest sounds, and kind of about conservation and how many trees are cutting down and informational type things. And that's really about it. There's bathrooms, there's a little shop.
Well, that's kind of cool, though.
I mean, it's cool. The kids like looking in all the windows, and if you get lucky and they're, checking on an animal or something in the little room,
yeah,
it's
that
kind
is
of cool.
cool.
But I mean, it's nice to go and see. I mean, it's not, you don't hinge your day on it, but it's cool to go out. It's never super crowded because most people just think it's kind of lame, so they don't bother with it. But if you need a break for the rest of the park, it's like a 3-minute little train ride, and the train is actually kind of like the Disneyland train because it only faces one way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're facing sideways. I mean, there's not a hell of a lot to see. You kind of see the backstage area where some of the pens are and the housing for some of the animals.
Oh, that's kind of cool, though.
As you go through. Yeah, no, it is. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, so I might add that to my list then. But after I went through Dino Land, I'd probably go back to Discovery Island to hang out in the Nomad Lounge because that sounded like a great idea. And it looks like on this map it says it has cocktails and small bites. So do they have appetizers there?
Very expensive
Okay,
appetizers, but
so
yes.
maybe I just get it.
Charcuterie board. I
No,
think.
they're good. The food,
The bread service we had
the
was
charcuterie
really
board
good.
is good. Yeah. The wings are very good, but you get like 3 for $15.
So, Disney prices.
I think there's some dumplings, maybe.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's like pot stickers or
that's
dumplings or something. They're not like Ohana
Okay.
ones, but they're good.
And I think I would skip It's Tough to Be a Bug. I do like that show, but it's in California Adventure, so if I went all the way to Animal Kingdom, I don't think I'd bother. But I guess it depends on how quickly I'm getting through the park. But I'd probably like to end my trip in Pandora just because from the pictures I've seen from you guys and online, it just seems like Pandora's extra cool at night. So I'd really like to check it out. And in an ideal world, I'd have a fast pass for... which one is the big Flight of Passage? Is that the bigger one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one.
Yes.
And I've heard that what is it called? The Canteen restaurant in there is kind of cool because they have that mobile ordering. So I might give
And
that a
the
shot for
bowl
dinner. Did you eat
is
there?
really
Either
good.
of you? You did?
Yes.
Yeah, I've eaten there twice.
I've
So you-
eaten there
It's
3
good.
times.
Is
Yeah.
there one
We've
thing
eaten
you
there
should
3
get?
times now. It was pretty good. It's
Well,
all
what they
good.
have is you have a make your own bowl. So you choose a base, which can either be like salad, quinoa, like a sweet potato hash, maybe, and then you choose a protein, which I think they even have like a vegetarian, like a tofu, maybe chicken, beef, and then you choose a dressing to go on top of that. So it's all make your own, and it's really good. They also have cheeseburger pods, which are kind of weird, but my kids like them.
I thought they were awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that seems to be the popular thing that comes out.
Yeah,
of there.
it's kind of cool that you can customize.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'd try dinner there. And then if I still had time, I'd probably just go back and do Everest again in the dark because I really loved it. But
it's
I
fun
think
in the
it's
dark.
not terribly different from what Adrianne did. I think it seems like going clockwise around seems to be a good approach.
I still get lost there. No lie. I don't know how many times I've been there. I'm like, wait, how do I get to Asia? I can't remember.
Well, it's just so big
Well, there's
because
no-
when you look on a map, it
It's
doesn't look like it
huge.
would be
Yeah, it's
that
very
big,
big.
but it's huge.
No,
Yeah.
it's big. It's a biggie. I mean, it's kind of like a circle, but it's not. 'Cause
Exactly.
You can't go... I mean, I guess you could walk all the way around the waterways, but it's not like walking around the
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom around in a circle. Like, it'll take you,
Well, and it looks like
I mean, you can go from one end to the Magic Kingdom or the other fairly quickly if you wanted to. It's
and
not
it looks
happening
like
here.
you can't get from Pandora or Dino Land to the entrance without going back through Discovery Island. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's
So
correct.
it's not even
yes.
a full circle.
Yeah, you have to go You have to go out and around, right? Yeah, from the outskirts of everything, yes, you can't do a full circle.
Okay, I was just
Correct.
checking. Yeah, so that's probably what I would do. I'm sure I guessed some things wrong, but you learn as you go,
Oh,
right?
you did good.
Thanks.
Okay. Melanie, you're next in line.
All right, my turn. I'm going to just go with everyone else's kind of premise of we're going to have fast pass, flight of passage, and I'm just going to plan my day around that. So just say we're going there. I just don't know when, because you never know when those fast passes are going to work out. So I guess if I'm coming for rope drop, I'm going to need caffeine. So my first stop is Creature Comforts for some Starbucks.
Okay.
Because that park is big and I need my caffeine. Let's see. I'm tempted to take the clockwise trek because I do want to see Lion King kind of first in my day because I like it. But just for the sake of doing something different from everybody else, let's go counterclockwise. I think the only thing that really interests me at this point in my life with my kids is just in Dinoland is Dinosaur.
Yeah.
So, it's always been something that they've liked since they were little, and I enjoy it too. So Dinosaur is definitely a must-do over in Dinoland. There's not much else there that really calls to us. Like you said, that little carnival thing just seems really weird, and we usually just kind of go on that side trek and go straight to Nemo. I enjoy Nemo. It's not as good as the Lion King show, but I do enjoy it. I like live theater, and I think it's a good show. It's definitely worth doing, especially if you're not waiting in a super long line for it. I wouldn't wait in a huge line for it again now that I've seen it a few times. But it's really great because it's dark in the theater, and then the fish are so bright and vivid, and the performers are really, really good. So it's definitely
really
worth
good.
doing a few times, especially if you have young ones, or you're like me and Finding Nemo played a big part in our life growing up. Not so much Finding Dory, but Finding Nemo was a really big part of my kids' toddler years. So we do like that one. Not going to use a fast pass for it. Like, I'm not, as you keep going counterclockwise, the next thing you're going to hit is Everest. I'm not going to use a fast pass on Everest. My kids just single rider line the heck out of that one. I'm good to ride it once, but in my aging years, I can't ride it more than once. So, but luckily that gift shop where you come out of Expedition Everest, that is one of the best gift shops in the park.
It is really good.
The shirts are the best there. That's normally, if we're going to buy shirts in Animal Kingdom, we're buying them in that gift shop at Everest. So, and there's a few good little nooks for people to just kind of sit and chill if you've got, younger kids that you want to, be near as they're doing the single rider line over and over. But yeah, that's definitely not something I would use a fast pass for. Nor would I probably use it for Kali River Rapids. I like River Rapids, but I've always been in the lines, never been terrible there. I don't think I've ever waited more than 20 minutes for Kali River Rapids. But it's definitely fun. I like the sign that says, you will get wet, you may get soaked. So this is not a
Yeah.
river rapid ride that you're even going to pretend to come off of dry. No.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, they can
It's
turn up the
impossible.
splash
That one either.
factor. They can turn up the splash factor in the summer and turn it down when it's cooler, but you will still get wet. It's just
Yeah.
going to happen.
Is that the just soaked to the bone?
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what the
It's
California
very
one is
much
too.
like
Like-
that, but there's more trees in this particular section of the park, so it's more wooded versus like you're in the mountains, like you're in the valley of a mountain. But
Okay.
very, very similar to to California Adventure. I love the Maharaja Jungle Trek. It's just it's a little walking tour. It's the most zoo-like part of Animal Kingdom, where there are animal exhibits and you walk around and you look at them. There's the Bengal tigers are there, the bats are there. There's a lot of great chances for you to just walk slowly, relax a little bit. It's a huge park. You can't, if you try to go too quickly, you're going to get worn out. So Maharaja is good for slowing down, taking your time. I'm not sure what's going on with Flights of Wonder. I'm sure they changed the name of Flights of Wonder because of Flights of Passage. So it was too much.
It's something with Up. It's something with Up now. It will be, it's called Up, A Great Bird Adventure. That's coming in later on in April, about a month from now.
From the artist renderings of The Great Bird Adventure, the backdrop looks like it's going to be the same. The theater will be the same, and the birds will probably be the same. It's just a new story. So if you liked Flights of Wonder, you'll probably like the Up thing too. I mean, it's just not going to be the old tourists coming through storyline. So there'll be,
which was
it
the
really
best
was,
part.
but I can see them weaving, weaving Kevin into it with Doug and Russell and the gang. But having Kevin in it makes sense. I'm fine with that. So I'd like to see a new show. It was one that my kids really liked the last couple of times we've been. It's great if you were on Cali River Rapids and you need to dry off without walking, because if you've got jeans on or shorts and they're wet and you walk, you get chafing. Trust me, I know this. Don't say how I know this, but to avoid chafing, you will want to dry off. And a great way to dry off is to watch the bird show. We're just going to call it the Great Bird Show.
Yeah, because that theater's pretty much in the sun, too.
So, you'll get to dry off, see some great birds. But, so in about another month, the new bird show will open up. I'm going to guess by this time we need to eat something. I'm not going to trek back to the entrance for Rainforest Cafe. I'm sorry. The Rainforest Cafes are everywhere. You fall into one camp. You love them or you hate them. I've always had a mediocre time at them. I won't say I had a horrible time at them, but they're chains. They have them everywhere. I'm not going to use a dining credit or wait for Rainforest Cafe when they are all over the place. I'm going to go somewhere, Yak and Yeti. I'm going to go someplace that I can only get in Animal Kingdom. I do love Tusker House, and if I'm at the bird show, Tusker House is not that far of a walk over. I do like the buffet there, the lunch and dinner buffet. I think it's one of the better ones on property as far as buffets go, because I'm not a super big buffet fan, but I do like that they have some interesting things. It's kind of like Boma Light. Boma Light.
Yeah, Boma Light. Yep.
So, and we love some Boma. That's one of our favorites too. But as far as an in-park buffet, Tusker House is one of our favorites. I enjoy some of the other ones, but I'm not a huge buffet girl. But when you have a large crowd, you just want to get to your table and eat. Sometimes that's one of the better options. So we'll either, if we're going to do quick service, definitely Yak and Yeti. I mean, that's just like what everybody else said, but we all say it for the same reason. Or Tusker if I'm going to go sit down for lunch. Let's see. I haven't hit Kilimanjaro because I will say that the last time I was at Kilimanjaro just happened to be sunset. And I think kind of like the early morning people, like Jessica and Adrianne were saying, if you're there at sunset, oh my goodness, the critters come out. They are jumping and running and eating, and it's a great time. So either first thing in the morning is the sun's rising or sunset would be my big tip for Kilimanjaro. So I guess depending on show times, and it's hard. What would you guys think? Would you fast pass Kilimanjaro or Lion King if you had to choose?
I would probably fast pass Lion King, because at least Kilimanjaro, the entire queue is pretty much in the shade. Whereas Lion King, if you got to wait for it, you're kind of just hanging out in that new courtyard area. So that would generally be what I would do.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. I mean, if we only had our one day ever in Animal Kingdom, I think I would fast pass Lion King, because the Kilimanjaro Safari's line moves. It really does.
Yes.
And it's shaded, and they have interesting things to look at.
Yeah, no, and it's not it's still one of the feature attractions in the park, but now with Pandora, it's not the one that everybody runs to now. So the lines have definitely calmed down a little bit.
And we'll work in Pandora Land whenever those fast passes will allow. But I think dinner would definitely dinner at Tiffin's is a no-brainer. Spend some time over at Nomad like everybody else says. I mean, these are our favorites for a reason. But Tiffin's is on my list because I haven't done it yet. I have heard that the views of Avatar from there are quite nice. So that would be fun. I haven't seen Rivers of Light yet. I was there during that crazy period of time when they're like, it's coming soon. It's going to open soon. Oh, coming soon. It's coming.
So anytime in the past 3 years.
We were like, you couldn't plan because it was part of it. And we thought that we were safe because it was months after they had originally anticipated that it would be open. They're like, coming in the spring-ish. We're like, okay. Or whatever they said. I can't even remember now. This was so long ago. But we're like, this is not going to open, is it?
What was that other show? Jungle Book.
Thing?
Alive with Magic.
The Jungle Book, Alive, yeah.
But I will say, if you're there at night, I do like the projections on the Tree of Life. I think they are so cool. And I am normally not a fan of projection shows because I think, I don't know, they're neat and they're fun to look at, but I just kind of think they're hitting their saturation point. But if you're going to look at one show, I think just how clever and how natural it looks like. You wouldn't think that you could project something on a tree. That's just weird.
Really the first projection show, right? That they did?
I'm not sure what the order of operations was on that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but no, well, they had the other one at Magic Kingdom that they used to run before Wishes, Celebrate the Magic was first.
Yeah.
Whatever the first incarnation was that. That was before any of the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, even Harry Potter Land is now doing... Yeah, Harry Potter's now doing projections. I mean, projections. Yeah. I'm sure there's something special in the technology that I just don't understand that makes it very intricate and special, but it's like projecting a movie on just a 3D screen as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's a 3D screen. Yay.
Yep.
I know I sound very negative about that. I don't like being a negative person, but that just is not something that excites me personally. I will say, Jessica, though, if you are going to skip It's Tough to Be a Bug because the show is is in California, the really cool part about It's Tough to Be a Bug isn't the show, and I do love the pre-queue line. I love the posters and stuff. But when you're walking through the queue, you can get a real close-up look at the carvings on the Tree of Life.
Oh, really?
And that is the best part.
Yes.
I mean, the movie is okay. The pre-show cave, I love hanging out.
You can skip the show at that point.
Queue and then keep going.
So
just go through the queue and just...
Honestly, that's a great insider tip. Thank you.
Yeah, the trunk and the roots and the branches all have carvings in them of different things, different animals, different real animals, like mythical animals.
Animals.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Like
if you're going to skip the show, skip the show, but definitely take a look at the tree itself.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, because the queue winds through a lot of it. Whatever you don't see from the outside and in the Discovery Island and the Oasis and stuff.
You want to be close up to that.
Melanie's exactly right. Yeah, and you're right there. Yeah, it's definitely worth.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you have no interest in seeing the show, because I believe you can because for little kids, I believe you can just
bypass the show if you want to, or if you just want to hang out in the air conditioning for a half hour, go see the show. But yeah, it's it's worth it just to see how the artisans weave the creatures into the tree itself. So that's pretty cool. So if you're going to skip the show, but it is a good place to wander around. And I'm all about wandering around when you're at Animal Kingdom. I honestly think that's a park that, aside from a few fast passes, we don't make hard and fast plans for that one. We just like to kind of take our time there and wander the paths. And sometimes the critters are doing interesting things and we stop and watch, and sometimes they're bored of humans and we let them be. So you never know how your date. I mean, you could be on Kilimanjaro Safari, and if the giraffe mom and the giraffe baby are blocking your path, you're stuck there for 20 minutes. It's happened to me. We almost missed they almost didn't let us in Tusker House because we got stuck on that safari ride. We're like, there was a giraffe and his baby in our path and we couldn't move, and then they let us in. Which was important because that was going to get us our fast pass for Nemo for dining there. That was back when they did those you dine here and then you get the fast pass. That was years ago.
Yep.
So that was our fast pass for Nemo, which we almost missed that too. Because Nemo and Tusker House are not exactly close together. Nah.
No.
Not
Not even close.
And maybe those early days of rushing around are why I now like to take it slow and meander. But yeah, sure. I haven't seen Rivers of Light. I'm sure I will one day. It's not something I would. Are there like preferred viewing areas where you can use like fast passes? Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Yes, there's a fast pass for it. If not, there's a standby. There's two huge
I was looking at the map.
seating areas.
Huge. Yeah, I'm not using fast pass for that mess, but
no, don't.
I do like
the dining package though.
Would you recommend the dining package based on where you were seated?
Well, if you're going to eat, Tusker House might as well. Because standby line is insane. So
right.
Yeah, standbys. Yeah.
I mean, they start for a 9:00 show. They start lining up at 7:30, and I don't have any time for that.
It's worse than lining up for Fantasmic.
Yeah, I fast passed that one time.
Yeah,
that was actually nice.
But I don't think seating, I think, is fine no matter where you are. It's so big.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I can't see one section being worse than the
other.
That's
my problem with Illuminations is that there are definitely bad viewing spots. So
yes, that's because the trees have grown in 35 years.
Exactly.
Poles and structures.
So if you don't know
people,
where the because it's dark too. So if you don't know where the trees are overhanging and blocking your view until the show lights up.
Right.
So then by the time the show lights up, you realize you have a bad spot. So these places with the stands, I like that they have the seating stands so that everybody gets a good view no matter what. But yeah, lining up at 7:30 is kind of nonsense to me.
Yep.
That'd be one of those days if I came in, I slept in and then went to Animal Kingdom. Oh,
right.
But that's it. I mean, I think
I
usually do go clockwise. So I think for my next time, I might try this counterclockwise way. But I do like
there you go.
If you are going to start your day, I do like the playing areas. It's just, I like Animal Kingdom a lot. It's growing on me. It took it a long time to start growing on me, but it did.
I'm not even going to have to say anything when it's my turn because everybody's just kind of like took mine. Combination of everybody so far. All right, Mr. Milford. Let's hear it.
Well, my touring plan's probably a little odd because I have my favorite rides at Animal Kingdom, and that's what I do. So, my goal would be there to be at Rope Drop, head straight for Kilimanjaro, which I think somebody already said, because the animals are moving in the morning. From there, and I'm going to bounce around just because that's what I do, I would go from there straight to Expedition Everest without a fast pass, go through the single rider line, and probably ride that 2 or 3 times in a row. Oh, by the way, I did find Minnie and Mickey, Safari Minnie and Mickey are in the, what did this say? The Adventurers Outpost. Yeah, which is right across from the entrance to Tree of Life. So I was looking at the map and correct. I figued that out. Right. I knew they moved them somewhere, but I couldn't remember where.
That's right. Yeah,
So,
me neither. All right, cool.
I'm not a Kali
Thank
River Rapids guy. I can't stand being wet. I don't like being wet. I don't want to walk around in the park wet all day. So I usually skip that ride unless, back in the day when I had the kids with me, they would make me ride it. But, I'd go buy a poncho and we would tough it out. But now today, no, I'm going to skip that one. I would go from Expedition Everest, hopefully with a fast pass, and do Dinosaur, because I do like that ride, though the last 7 times I've gone to ride it, it's been broke down. It seems to be a common problem. It always breaks down when I go to ride it.
I wonder if it's the vehicle, because Indiana Jones is constantly breaking down too.
Yeah, I think it's the ride system that they have, and it has issues. I mean, it is getting up there in age. That thing was there when the park was built. So it's going to be 20 years old this year. So, and I don't know that they've done any major refurbishment to that building. I know there's been a few times it's been down for a couple months to do a refurb, but I don't know. I don't know how much they can do in a refurb in 2 months.
The last major one they had was basically just to get some of the effects working. I know, like the laser lights and the strobe lights weren't working during when you're supposedly going back and forth in time. So, and that was a major thing. So I think that was the last refurb that it was. It was really just for effects and stuff. I don't think anything track or vehicle system wise has been done that I know of.
So from there, I'm probably going to walk across the park back towards Festival of the Lion King, because I'm one of these guys that doesn't do a fast pass for that. I walk up last minute before they shut the door, because I don't really care where I sit, because there's not a bad seat in the whole theater, and usually make my stop at Starbucks along the way, because sometimes you can get a cast member that won't give you a fit about taking a drink in there if it's in a sealed cup. So, just a little tip.
Nice.
I haven't done Bug's Life in years, or Tough to Be a Bug, but I do like to roam around in the pathway and, look at all the sculptures. And then in a real world, somewhere along the day, I would have a fast pass for Flight of Passage, and try to do that if I can't get a hold of my VIP buddy, and hopefully he doesn't have tours that day. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm probably not supposed to say that.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Fancy, throwing that around. Jeez.
He'll probably get mad at me for talking about it, but I didn't mention his name. So, anyway, but I like to people watch. So probably when I'm done with Festival of the Lion King, my favorite place is to go sit at the Dawa Bar in Africa. They have good drinks there. They make a mojito with the actual sugar cane stuck in it.
That's a good one.
That's my favorite drink. I need to put that on my list.
I sit there.
That one is
drink
really,
those
really
all
good.
day. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Nope.
Of course, somebody's gonna be pouring me back into a bus later, but. And then, after that, I'd probably just kind of roam the park until nighttime. I still have not seen the nighttime show at the lake. You guys have mentioned the name 4 times. Rivers of Light.
Rivers of Light.
And I've not seen the projection show on the tree yet. So those 2 things are on my list to do this December. I'm going to spend the time at Animal Kingdom and stay through the evening so that I can, 1, take some nighttime pictures, and 2, try to catch both of those shows. And then I just like to roam in that park. As far as eating, my favorite place in there is the Flame Tree Barbecue. And then second to that would be Yak and Yeti, either sit down service or the outdoor quick service, because they have some of their food in a quick service out there, and they actually serve it in the little Chinese containers, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
But Flame Tree would be number 1 on my list to eat at. And I'm with you guys on the whole Rainforest Cafe thing. Once you've been in one, you've been in all of them. Once you've been
And I'm
in
not going to Disney for a chain.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, very good. All right, so I guess it's my turn. I kind of took this approach for the sake of this, as if I was going to, I guess, maybe be there myself. But it's kind of the same way we've done it when we've been there with the kids. It was a park that was not very explored for me the first couple times we went with our kids, just because I knew that they'd probably be disinterested somewhat. Not even because of the lack of attractions, I think just because and there is a ton of stuff to see, so maybe it was just my and my wife's assumption, and it was a park I knew very little about until, I don't know, a bunch of years ago, I guess, until I really started exploring it. Probably, what are we in, 2018? I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then I started to love going there and wanting to spend more time there. And if I had to rank, not that it has anything to do with this, but if I had to rank my parks in order of favorite, I think Epcot is number 1, and I think Animal Kingdom moves ahead of Magic Kingdom for me as number 2, and then to be Magic Kingdom and Studios, just because of stuff that everybody has mentioned about just the wandering and the overall beauty of the park. And there's just so much stuff to look at, and it's something new every time because it's like an ever-changing circle of life, for lack of a better word. But anyway, for the purpose of this, is how I would go about it for a day. Is we always start, and I think I would continue to do this, is we rope drop a safari for sure, and then I would most likely get probably a fast pass for a sunset one, because I do enjoy that one as well, for same reasons everybody else. Animals seem to be more active sometimes, definitely in the morning at certain animals, and then at night you have some of the more nocturnal ones that kind of are a little more active during the night. And as well as Melanie, I've had giraffes that have interfered plenty of times with our safari vehicles. One time there was one that literally followed the vehicle pretty much for the entire ride through the plains area, the savannah. The giraffe just kind of walked along the side of the vehicle the whole entire time, which was absolutely awesome. And I know I have some pretty cool video of it. He didn't bother the vehicle and stick his head in or anything else. He just walked alongside it the whole time, pretty much till we got to the elephants. And that was pretty cool. I think, and then as far as originally, I think I said I had, when I wrote stuff down, that I would have a fast pass for Everest, but seeing as if my kids do like it, it's becoming one of those ones where it's a one and done for me. I can't do back to back on the roller coasters anymore. It's funny because my wife and I were just having this conversation, and she's at the point now where she's kind of leery if she's going to do much of any of them, just because her weirdness with going on stuff is getting worse, it seems, by the month. So we're gonna be fighting each other for who's gonna go on this stuff with the kids, who wants to feel lousy for the rest of the day. which sucks, because it's not like the roller coasters at Walt Disney World are like, these super ridiculous roller coasters compared to other ones in other parks around the country and the world, but they're about all I can handle. So after my early morning safari, I'd probably go grab something to eat. I'm thinking Tusker House as well, just because I do enjoy the breakfast there. I like the options, and Boma Light is great. If I can't eat at Boma, then I'm going to have Tusker House stuff, because I believe there's nothing else really that I can think of other than quick stuff at some carts as far as breakfast stuff in Animal Kingdom. And I'm not a Starbucks person, and I have no reason to go anywhere near any of them, so I wouldn't go in there just to get like a egg sandwich or something like that. I can get a bacon, egg, and cheese every day.
No, the only other option is Pizza Safari.
Yeah,
sometimes
that's where we're
has
very different.
pizza breakfast.
Yeah, they have the pizza breakfast, right? Which I'm not against, but
Right.
I'd rather just have something. I'd rather have something good and drink my fill of the jungle juice, and possibly add some stuff to it with a bottle that may or may not be in my backpack. Because if you're there without kids, then you don't really want to deal with kids, so you got to make it, got to ease yourself. Anyway, I would definitely grab a fast pass for Festival of the Lion King, probably for that first show in the morning, which is usually around sometimes 9:30 or 10 o'clock. and get that and do that, because that is my favorite stage show after probably Hoop-Dee-Doo. So I enjoy seeing that every time. It's, even though most of the actors and actresses are the same and have been the original cast since its opening, it's still always a different experience every time you go, just how the audience reacts, and because it is a live show, you never know what's going to happen, if anything's, weird, little bit of different lines here and there. But I do love that show, and it's a ton of fun, and they just do a phenomenal job every time. Now that it's in its new theater over there, it's even better, because it's nicer building, a little better climate control, so that's always pretty cool. So after I would come out of there, I'd be with Milford sitting at Dawa Bar, grab myself one of those fantastic mojitos, because they are friggin' amazing and so refreshing. So I'd probably sit and relax with that and grab a Safari Amber to take on my walk to wherever. I'm pretty much a wanderer, as well as like Melanie and Milford. I don't think we stick too much to a plan for that park too. I mean, we just kind of burn our fast passes, and as I've said on here before, we've never tried to use the fourth ones, just because it just never has worked out. So I think this trip will be the first time myself and my family will try that option out with, after you use your first three. What we would use it on, I don't know. I've not seen Pandora yet, so I think I would have a fast pass for Flight of Passage. That would be definite, because I don't care how good it is. I'm not waiting for 3 hours for anything. And I hope that I'm going into this without my expectations too high, because I've heard both sides of it, where people think it's supposed to be this life-changing experience, and if it wasn't, then they kind of felt let down or disappointed. So I'm trying not to get like too super overhyped on it. I'm sure I will be blown away by it, judging by what 99.9 of the people have said about the experience they had on the ride. So I'm definitely looking forward to that and experiencing with my family. As well as the Navi River ride, because that's honestly more my speed. I like the slow-moving boat rides, dark rides, classic stuff. I've heard all the things, it's too short and this and that and the other thing, but
it's beautiful.
As I said before, I'll reserve my judgment till I see it, and I'm sure it is. And to see that animatronic up close and doing its thing is probably going to fascinate me beyond belief. And whether it's a 2-minute ride or a 12-minute ride, as long as I'm entertained and fascinated by it, then I'm happy. So, wander around. I know, like Adrianne, you said it's not a huge area, but I guess there's still spend some time in there to check everything out and see it both in the day and in the dark. Probably would have to have a snack and try some of those hamburger pods, cheeseburger pods, whatever they are, because everybody thinks they're, they look really cool, and I'm intrigued by it. So I would definitely have to try that.
Are those slider size, or are they full hamburgers?
Slider size.
They look like
they come 2 or 3, right?
They look like
they're like
dumplings, don't they?
Chinese bun, those soft Chinese buns they have at Wine and Food Festival with the duck in them.
Oh,
Bao buns.
Bao buns.
Yes.
Bao.
So it's that kind of same consistency, but it's I don't know, they're probably 3 inches wide, and you get 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, Flight of Wonder, whatever they're going to call it, the new bird show. I really enjoyed that bird show. I liked the campy little act with Guano Joe, and it made me laugh every time. It was corny as hell, but it was, for me, it's why I go to Disney. If you want, I just like that stuff. That stuff makes me laugh, and it makes me feel like I'm 12 again, even though I act like I'm 12, but it makes me literally feel like. So I hope they didn't dumb it down too much and make it too stupid. And Up is great and all, but whatever. I hope it's just not something dumb and like nursery school like. That's all I'm hoping for. So, like I said, Up is a great movie, but I don't need to see Russell and Doug every friggin' where, because I don't know. I just don't. But that's me. Everest, I would probably do a single rider since I was there by myself. And like I said, one and done with that, and I'm good. Nemo was nice, but that's kind of a one and done for me too. It wasn't my favorite show, and I know, oh my god, but it just didn't do it for me. I didn't, I think it was well done and it's great. I'm not as high on the songs and stuff as everybody else was, so I don't really need to see that again unless the kids really wanted to or something like that. I'll sit in there with them, but it's not something I've done probably in 10 years. So and that kind of goes with the rapids too. I don't mind being wet and stuff. I kind of dress lightly for the parks, but it's not something I'll burn a fast pass on nor wait more than a half hour for, because while it is fun, there is like zero theming to it, and it's not, I don't know, it's just kind of like it's just a raft ride. It really is. I mean, I get what it's supposed to be about, but effects on that and the sound and the story haven't worked for so long it's not even funny. So it's the whole beginning half is just you're kind of bouncing around through trees that are laid down and you kind of don't know what the hell's going on because nothing works. And then and then you're getting spun around and soaking wet and people are squirting you from every angle as you're going underneath that walking bridge and stuff. So I'm not saying it's not fun. It is a lot of fun, but it's those stupid elephants. So that's that. Dino Land I go nowhere near. I have no business going there. I don't like Primeval Whirl. The spinner rides, like another thing, unless the kids are running to it, but it's not their favorite thing to do either. So I have no business going there. I can go to any number of carnivals at all the fairs that happen in my area. So going to play whack-a-mole and stuff like that is just, to me, is not necessary at all. The Boneyard's kind of cool for them to run around in, so it's nice to go sit in there and relax while they kind of dig through stuff and do that. So that I don't mind at all. Dinosaur's not my favorite. I don't enjoy it that much. It's okay. I mean, it's a cool ride. It just doesn't do it for me. So I'm hoping when I ever get out to Disneyland that the Indiana Jones is probably much better, which I've heard it is. So even though I know it's the same vehicle and track and everything else, but I guess everything around it is probably the theming probably makes it better. But yeah, I guess that's kind of it for attractions. I mean, I like the Streetmosphere stuff, the bands that are out. They have the whole dance party and stuff that goes on right there, right outside of Dawa Bar, and I forget the names of all this stuff. And then right across from Pizzafari or Flame Tree there, they have the other band that plays out there. I like watching those guys. As I've said before on here many times, I just enjoy live music, kind of no matter what it is, as long as it's good, I'll hang around to that. So grabbing another beer and hanging around for that. There's so many awesome beer choices around that park, and in each area seems to have different ones themed specific to that area, which I like that a lot. And I'd probably end up for dinner either Yak and Yeti or probably out at the Nomad Lounge, like out on that deck. That deck is, I know everybody has said it, but it just can't, it's just such an awesome spot. That patio is just friggin' enormous. It wraps around that whole building. Those chairs are comfy as hell, and they got some great appetizers, great drinks in there, and beers and stuff too. So, and then just definitely would just be wandering around, especially come nightfall. After I did that sunset safari, I would just kind of wander. If I had enough nerve and weren't that pumped full of beer, I'd probably hit Everest at night. That's the one regret I had when we went. We did one of the DVC things when my wife and I were there at nighttime, and we were just so friggin' exhausted that we just couldn't muster ourselves to walk all the way to the back of the park to do that at night. And I really, really regret it that we didn't. I think that's on the list for this trip when we're there at night. But I definitely want to hang out at night. I have no desire to go to Rivers Light again. We saw it. We did a fast pass for it last year, and I was just, I don't know. I know we talked about it on here, so I'm not going to go into it a million times over again. It just, I don't know. It is what it is. I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but it's not something I need to see again. There was no wow factor. There's no beginning, middle, and end to it. It was just kind of there. So I, as everybody else who has seen it, would just kind of take that time to wander around and relax, people watch, and just hang out. That area, same area that Adrianne was talking about, where even when you're coming around by where Flame Tree is and where Pizzafari is, the lights, the street lights that are hanging, and then like the post lights, these beautiful stained glass lights and stuff. I could just stand and take pictures of those things and just play around with the camera for hours on end. That's probably how I would spend my night. And then I would wander back towards the front of the park for the Awakening show is or whatever the hell it's called on the Tree of Life. Is very, very cool. It's quick, like 2 to 3 minutes of this just like beautiful music, serene music they play over the speakers, and then the animals that morph here and there. And it's the animals in the tree. It's the carvings that are projection mapped, and then they move and they do stuff and whatever, and then it breaks for like 10 minutes, I think, and then another one comes on. So you can kind of just sit and hang out there in that main entrance area and just watch that for however long that the thing does. I think it does it the whole night until the park closes. I don't know, but I remember when my wife and I went and we didn't do the Rivers of Light the second time, we just kind of stood there and just watched it for a while, and it's really cool. It's definitely really cool. So yeah, I mean, no big secret at Animal Kingdom. I don't know that there's I think the Pandora thing is the only outlier as far as like a plan, so to speak. I don't know. I mean, it's not something. I guess you could go and rope drop that if you wanted to, if you didn't want to burn fast passes on it. But I think everybody does that, so I feel like the standby line. I feel like it doesn't work, right? Because the standby line is just going to be nutty right from the get-go.
I was on. I know this isn't really what we're talking about, but I was on, maybe it was Twitter the other day, and when we rope dropped for a Flight of Passage, they brought you down by Tiffin's. The line wrapped all through the whole ride, and then they brought you back down that bridge. And apparently now they're doing it the other way and backing you out the other entrance towards Tusker House.
Wow.
And the line at rope drop was almost in Africa. Yeah.
Holy
so
crap.
Hopefully Toy Story Land will help to break that up a little bit. But yeah, there's no way at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
Ridiculous.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, get you a fast pass.
Yeah, no, I mean we did, and I'm trying to remember what time it is. I think it's for later in the evening because it was whatever the thing spit out for me, and I think we only did plans for one day at Animal Kingdom. So it'll probably be something we'll only do once, unless.
Do rider swap. Pretend there's a kid that doesn't want to ride it, and do a rider swap.
Well, that may happen anyway because my youngest, he's not the 5-year-old's not tall enough anyway. So, well, I know my parents aren't going to do it again. They did it back in November when they went with my brother. So I know neither one of them will go on it again. So, yeah, we could always do that too.
It's there for a reason.
So, I mean, yeah, you're right. I know for so many years we never used it, but I think now it's time to. Even though my kids are clearly old enough to be able to do some of the stuff by themselves, but whatever.
So big.
They don't know that. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of snacking around and stuff. I know Jessica had mentioned the Harambe Market. They have some great stuff in there. So eating wise for me, I don't know that I'd even do a sit down because, especially if I was like there by myself, or even if I was just with my immediate family of 5. I mean, I'm fine with snacking my way around. I kind of take that approach. I mean, you can end up costing yourself more money doing that probably than just sitting down and eating something. But there's so many great little carts in there. There's one that has like a turkey BLT thing, like on ciabatta bread. And it's just so good. There's a couple other like just different, and they have like that fresh fruit cart, not only in Harambe but right around the corner from where the Harambe Market is, and I can't think of where the hell. It's when you walk past Dawa, I think, in that area, and you're going up that corridor heading towards the safari, I believe.
Is that the Coast Safari?
Maybe. It's like a little, they got like it's like fruit, bananas and oranges and stuff like that, and then like watermelons in the little plastic things.
Wait, no,
and,
right outside the safari?
Yeah, maybe.
Like in the middle?
It's the Harambe fruit market.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what that's called? Okay, because it's not
Yes.
in the actual Harambe market. It's just right on the outside. Because I know we used to stop by there and just grab like a thing of watermelon or some pineapples and stuff like that, and that was always.
And I had never noticed until our last trip the little candy shop that's over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zuri's
Yeah.
Sweets. That's where you used to be able to buy the Flame Tree barbecue sauce when they were selling it, and like the rub from the Flame Tree rub as well. I mean, you can make them. The recipes are Deb's All Ears has the recipes, and they're very easy to make. But you used to be able to buy
But
that
apparently
stuff
they
there.
have a dark chocolate with peppers in it, hot peppers,
Yes,
which I haven't tried, but that sounds right up
yes.
my alley.
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, see the dark chocolate.
Oh
ones are
no,
pretty-
dark chocolate and peppers is awesome.
I'm sure. I just don't like chocolate, so
You're an insane person, but that's okay.
I'm an insane. You're right. I know. So that's basically it, I guess. I think it's a park that, even though it's been open close to 20 years this year, that hasn't gone through that many changes other than the Pandora expansion. Other than that, everything's kind of been what it's been. There has been small stuff that's changed here and there, but the layout and kind of, I think, it's funny because until now I've never heard like clockwise versus counterclockwise for that park, just because that's always funny. That's like always like a Magic Kingdom or a World Showcase thing. Like, which way do you go? I've never heard it as far as for going around Animal Kingdom, but I guess you can kind of go right or go left. I don't know. Going right seems wrong because
Well,
then it's
I was gonna say,
Dino
let's go to
Land
Dinoland
first.
No.
I mean, to go to Dinosaur, that would be. I mean, actually, Restaurantosaurus doesn't have bad food, and now that they don't do the character, because they used to do Donald's breakfast used to be there before they had it at Tusker House. It was called Donald's Breakfastosaurus or something like that at Restaurantosaurus. It was some like ridiculous tongue twister name, and I think I do remember doing that there before they did it at Tusker House. But they do have some different food options there for a quick serve if you don't want Flame Tree or Pizzafari. So, but Flame Tree is awesome, especially since they redid the menu and they made all the extra seating down there and stuff. That's a cool place to go and hang out too and just relax, especially at night.
And it's usually
nobody's
on all
there.
the discounts: DVC, annual pass, and
Yes.
the Tables in Wonderland.
Tables in Wonderland, yeah. You are correct. They have a great like tea cart that's over there. The Ananda Panur Tea Company, I believe it's called. Some great teas over there from different stuff. If you're a tea drinker, I know most people are coffee and Starbucks, but for us teetotalers, when you're not in Epcot, that's another place to go. That's pretty good. I don't know. That's all I got. I guess that's
Good
it.
to me.
Okay. I mean, as of recording, today is Monday the 19th. There was some other stuff that went on that if you care to worry about, you can just have gone to social media, because by the time you all are hearing this, it'll be a few days past, and that being that Pirates had reopened with the new scene. I will be going there in 2 weeks, so I am staying away from videos. I've seen pictures. I've basically seen what all the dialogue is, and I am not going to say a word about it till I see it live. I'm trying to stay not as negative as I want to be about it.
I don't
and
think
not as
you'll
grumpy.
be as disappointed as.
So, the only thing I will say, which was kind of all but confirmed, is I'm very disappointed that the figurine or animatronic that they did use for the new Redhead is the old Jane from the Great Movie Ride, which is extremely disappointing to me because not the same look.
I thought
and
that
I
looked
don't
familiar.
Think, she looks as good. Oh yeah, I mean, it was all over the place this morning. So yeah, the old Redhead was a nice looking facial features, and then now you stuck this, the Jane figurine in there, which is not as old as the Redhead one was, but I don't know. It's just a weird, different look. Big cheekbones just doesn't look right to me. But what the hell do I know? We'll wait until I see it. So anyway, that's that. We hope everybody enjoyed last week's episode where we had Ben on talking about his film. I hope everybody's gone and checked out his website and followed along with him and the adventures of Walt's Frozen Head. And with that being said, we thank you all for listening this week, and we'll talk to everybody next time. Follow our troupe at www.dizexplorers.com, where you can find all the links for all our hosts' social media accounts. You can also follow the podcast on our Facebook group at The Diz Explorers and on Twitter and Instagram at The Diz Explorers. You can download this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, and also on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Hope you had a good time. So long from Jiminy Cricket and Spectro Magic.